narrative director at WB Games Montreal, and America Young. She is portraying Batgirl.
Yay!
That never gets old. Every time she says that.
We're going in a circle, so these guys are going to start off, and then we're going to close with us.
Amazing. So bad we're so
System, huh?
So my question would be more on the game launch. Are they going to be especially outfits? Like, Arkham Origins, you said you could get different armor sets.
Yes, we've got a series of different outfits themed across all four knights, all four knights.
Okay. How did you settle on Jason and Tim rather than Stephanie and Poddig?
I'll be really honest. Partly it was a question of gameplay. There is history there that I was not ready to because of how things were in the project. But our intent with all four characters was really just to give you very four distinct personalities and distinct play styles. We're making a game with four main characters, and we did everything custom for all of them. So we really wanted to be able to exploit those differences to offer a really unique experience for everyone.
What's for you a good animation movie?
What's a good animation movie that I've watched that I've loved? I just watched Kubo and the Two Strings.
Yes.
And that was unbelievable. And Toronto. I just watched it again recently and fell in love with all over again.
Which version of like Batgirl did you want to bring to your particular character? Like, you want to play her super serious, like funny, light? Like, how did you come at this particular role?
I love humor. It's a little bit hard because in this game she's always the adult in the room, right? With those four guys or those three guys. But I tried her sincerity, her earnestness, and her humor were the things that I tried to bring to the table.
This is more kind of about the plot, without spoiling anything. We know Batman is dead. We're going to get all the answers to how, why, where, and how all that happened. And can you say anything specific?
Absolutely not. Do you want to ask another question?
Yeah. America, this will be for you. You're playing such an iconic, strong character. What is it like for you personally to be Batgirl? Like that's you. You're Batgirl now. Like, what does that mean to you?
Every time someone says that, I grew up in comic books. I grew up specifically with reading Batman. My dad's best friend, his uncle, was Bob Kane, and so like I was always involved in this world. And Batgirl is somebody I've always identified with all her different versions. There's so many beautiful versions of her. And I remember I found out I booked the job and I was so excited, but it wasn't until like a couple days later where I was driving in my car and it occurred to me that because I booked the job, that meant DC Comics said I booked the job. And the DC Comics put their stamp of approval on me playing Batgirl. And I nearly had a car accident because it hit me so hard. My hands started to shake, I started to cry. Like to have admired a world for so long, my entire life, and to have all of a sudden found myself approved by it. It's an unbelievable experience.
Since it's four characters, narratively, how big is the game? Like, does each character get a central focus alongside everyone else?
Every character gets custom lines per level, per cinematic, and they get each a character arc with multiple cinematics in it. It was a lot of writing, but because we wanted that to be part of the experience, and because gameplay and animation are doing the same thing on their side, unique animation sets, unique gameplay per character, we had to rise to the occasion and bring that too.
So it's 4 games in one.
It's 4 games in one. Is definitely the way you can go about it.
Congratulations. That is a really big deal.
Yeah.
I asked Christopher this question, so I'll throw it to you as well. Without giving me any spoilers, because she's right here and I'm pretty sure she'll stop you.
Yeah.
Where is Barbara mentally at the beginning of this? Like, you know.
That's a great question. One of the things that I love about the game is that it's not an origin story, right? We've seen enough of these. We've seen a lot of Batman origin origin stories. These characters coming to the table already with in-place relationships that and a lot of baggage and a lot of things. And so finding out that her mentor, her second father figure, is dead, and then having to fill in and figure out what that means for her and what that means for her relationship with Gotham, but then has to deal with these three guys who are all up in her space, right? It's nice that they don't get along that much at first. They're trying to figure out who they are as themselves without Bruce in their lives, but also what that means to what they are to each other. And it adds beautifully complex and a lot of times humorous interactions between the three guys.
I'm going to add a note to this. I'm pretty sure she was being careful for spoilers, but we never forget Jim Gordon in this. He's also very important to Batgirl, and that is that, yes. I won't tell you how, but you know, he is definitely a part of
Batgirl and Jim Gordon are two of my favorite characters. Batgirl and Jim Gordon are two of my favorite characters. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, Jim, and I'm doing this.
You're happy about some of the stuff he did, I hope.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, Batman game without Batman. From a narrative perspective, was that difficult or was it freeing? And why? Liberating.
It was liberating, not because Batman isn't a fun challenge to take on. That would have been just a different kind of game, right? But we really got to take on characters that aren't the main headliners in games usually, right? That have been fleshed out and loved and had so many good writers take a turn at them to write them. And instead take that and make these are characters for this game within a very iconic Batman story, which is Court of Owls, right? And then growing beyond that and layering over that. These are all characters my team loves. We had writers going, I want to write this one and I want to write this one, right? Like, we came to this very excited and very enthused about it, and like I hope it's reflected in the work that everyone sees it. But it's just a different challenge. That's all it is, really. It's just we got to do something different. Do you still have time, Phil? Can you do another round? Go.
Yes, we have a couple minutes left. Sorry.
It was a lot of negotiations and conversations with other teams, actually. Long before we sat down, like, I knew what we were going to do. I had to make sure everyone else agreed and committed to that. We worked with Wilson a lot. He was part of our, like, we have the whole writing review process internally, but before we sent anything for approval to DC, we would sit down with Wilson, and our final writing room approval was with Wilson in the room. So because he was going to take the cinematics after and do 4 versions each. Wow. Like, you know, like not the whole thing, but each night was going to get a different shoot. So he was part of it. Sometimes he would just be like, this is too complicated. Most of the time he was like, oh, you want to do this? That sounds really cool. Let's just do it. Or he couldn't go, we can do this crazy thing instead. He'd be like, really? Really? You're going to let us do that? Okay, yeah, let's do it. We're not going to have a question.
He enabled them.
Oh my God.
He enabled them to do whatever.
Oh yeah, no, it was really fantastic collaboration. But without that, the game would not exist.
Being that it's largely a Court of Owls story, were Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo involved at all?
Yes, when you get to Patrick Redding, ask him that question.
Okay.
He will have more of the details and answers for you for that, for sure.
Okay.
He's next.
Come on, punch with Batgirl. Come on, punch with Batgirl.
What am I? I can hear.
Come on, front.
The common traits?
Yes.
Yeah. I usually feel like I'm the only adult in the room. I come from stunts. That's my background, and so that dynamic of being the only girl in a big group of muscle-bound boys is something that I'm very used to. So there's that, but also the nurturing and using humor as a defense is the other thing.
But also just her expertise, right?
Yeah, her expertise.
She's the hacker. She's the one who brings that to the table.
Yes.
And she gets to nerd out with Robin a lot too.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's the great thing is that with each of these guys, she's got something she connects with them on. Sometimes a little bit of surprising.
Yeah.
There's the one in particular
Yeah, we had fun changing it up.
conversation with one particular of the other nights that cracked me up so much.
Casting down to like these 4 particular roles, I can imagine you've seen like hundreds of different people. Kept narrowing it down to those 4 for you.
honestly, we wanted to cast not just for good actors, we wanted to cast for good people. We wanted to build a team of actors who would gel and work well together, and that was like definitely a part of our casting was. So we didn't just do the read and go. We would spend 15, 20, 30 minutes with each audition, doing a different read, asking questions, getting to know a little bit the person just to get a sense of things and go, okay, yeah, this feels like a good cast. And I think we phenomenally lucked out. Like our casting is just fantastic. The first time they got on set and they gelled, we were like, oh, this is it. Like these characters are just coming together. But it wasn't just the characters coming together, it was their actors coming together too.
Every time the four of us hang out, I mean, I remember the first time we all went out to dinner after our first day of shooting, and every single one of us was doing what our character would do in this situation. Steven was brooding, and Sloan was like researching the menu, and Christopher was like charming the waitress, and it was just like this whole big moment where I was like, oh yeah, this is right.
Feel like that.
This is right. Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah, that was
Great.
right.
That